permanent secretaries, directors, and other senior staff of the ministry to comply with your invitation for budget defense. And I propose to start our defense by presenting an overview of the 2018 appropriation and what we have done, and then speak to the broad framework of the proposals for the 2019 budget. So the total amount appropriated in 2018 was 714.6 billion for Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. The works section, which concerns this committee, was 399.4 billion. The capital allocation, that's for the capital allocation. Within that amount, there were allocations to parastatals as well. So the main ministry got 356.7 billion. The parastatals of the ministry got 42.6 billion. Overhead costs, and this is dealt with, I believe, in paragraph 2, subparagraphs A and B of the memorandum which the ministry has submitted. I will take most of them as read, except to speak to a few items. Personnel cost was 17.259 billion, and that is managed, as we know, by the Office of the Accountant General. The amount released for the capital sum from finance was 144.26 billion, which represents about 40.4% of the 356 billion, which is the share of the ministry's budget of the capital. There were additional releases, 27 billion from the Sukuk, which took total releases to 48.1 billion. The only thing, 48.1%, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think I used the billions.
Well, it's been a rather long day. I usually like to do this in the morning when I'm fresh. But for overhead, the releases were 280 million, representing 58% of 480 million. The point to make about budget performance is to say that if we followed strictly what we have paid for, based on what was released to us, we'll be looking at a budget performance of 48.1%. That includes the Sukuk. But as Mr. Chairman will perhaps confirm, our contractors are still on site. And so we have done a lot more than we can report. Our reporting is constrained by payment. We have certificates that we have not paid because we haven't received money. And in terms of work that is delivering service to people, our contractors are still working in excess of the amount that they have received. And a significant number of our projects are now nearing completion. And some of these are listed in paragraph 4. Our revenue generation, excluding withholding taxes, VAT, and amounts generated from processing fees and all of that, excluding all of that, is 282.27 million. One of the reasons why this is like this is because we are de-emphasizing leases of our right of way as a source of income. They are causing more injury to our broader purpose, causing more encroachment to our highways, is obstructing free movement of traffic. So as a source of revenue, we are de-emphasizing it. We are also de-emphasizing revenue items from laying of fiber network and all internet telecom-based cabling and all of that. We think that the revenues lie more in the business they bring rather than in collecting money from this thing. Nonetheless, we are charging nominal fees, but the point we are trying to make is that this must not be a long-term revenue item for government. It really doesn't make sense as a sustainable. What makes sense is that the whole of Nigeria is connected by fiber optic, and we can do many more volumes of transactions and business. And so I just wanted to make that point very quickly. So that said, and all of the details of the performances are in Annexures 1 right through to 5, which are attached to the bundle that you have, Mr. Chairman and members. Our proposal for 2019 is 441.559 billion. And interestingly, this is now for the entire ministry. And
it's lower.
It's small.
Yes.
But this is because the envelope size has constrained us, and this is because also revenue sources have challenged government as a whole, and that's why you probably hear my colleagues from budget and from finance in their most recent conversations is to sensitize Nigeria to possibilities for new revenues. They're looking at VAT and all sorts of other heads of. The reality is that we need to find more money, and if we can't find more money, we can't do larger budgets. But so here we are, and just to mention that from this 441 billion, we propose that 306.4 will come to works, out of which the main ministry will get 234.28. The parastatals will get 72 billion, and the breakdown of that application of 72 billion to the parastatals is as set out from FEMA right through to Surveyors Council of Nigeria. Our overhead proposal is 15.703 billion, and the breakdown between ministry and parastatals again is set out in page 4. Our personnel costs will be warehoused under the global provision managed by the Office of the Accountant General. The focus of the 2019 budget essentially is to try and complete ongoing roads, bring them to conclusion so that people can get more benefits, reduce cost and time of travel. We will be working around the 7 road priorities that we had identified in the 2017-2018 budget, and we will bring them forward into 2019 because they are consistent with the economic recovery and growth plan of government and other developmental objectives. So priority 1 will be roads that carry the heaviest traffic, that help us to link north and south and east and west of Nigeria. So within this category, you have roads spanning different parts of the country: Lagos, Ibadan, Shagamu roads, Second Niger Bridge, Abuja to Lokoja, Kano, Maiduguri, that spans Kano, Bauchi, Yobe, Borno State, Enugu, Port Harcourt Road that crosses and connects the 5 states of the southeast with rivers in the south-south, the local Oweto Bridge that connects the east and west, the north and south, pardon me, through Nasarawa and Benue, and so on and so forth. Bini, Shagamu, Udupani, Itu, Ilorin, Jeba, those are the routes that carry essentially the heaviest traffic per capita in the country. Our second priority will be roads that lead to agro-produce hubs. And in this category, you will find roads like Sapelewu, Lagos, Otabekuta, Adeja, Unguru, Baimari, Ilorin, Obajana, Yola Mobi, Uweri, Umuahia, Yenegua, Kolo, Damatru, Tobiu, and so on. Third priority will be how we move our energy needs, and this involves roads that lead to depots, to ports, and these are Apapa, Oshodi Expressway, Suleja, Mina, Bodo, Boni, access route to Tinkan, NNPC Depot, Atlas Cove, Maitu, and Agiekacha Baru Road. Priority 4 are mainly movement to market for agro-producing, high agro-producing areas. We look at Sokoto, Tambuwa, Jega, Kotangora, Makera Road, Otukpo, 9th Mile, Enugu, Abakaliki, Afikpo, Akure, Ondo, Aba to Pobo, Nabia, Wukari to Jalingo to Numa in Taraba. These are some of the big agro bases of the country, and those roads help to connect them. The fifth priority we will be concerned about is our ability to discharge our counterpart funding obligations on existing contracts, like the Umfum Ekok Cameroon, Nigeria-Cameroon Highway Road, also our obligation under the counterpart funding for the Kefi Akwanga Lafia to Makodi Road, linking Nasarawa and Benue, and to pay compensation and consultancy services that enable us to implement these projects. The sixth area will be roads inside our tertiary institutions, our universities and colleges of education belonging to the federal government. Many of the roads are bad. We've started intervening. I think under the 2018 budget, we had about 14 universities where we have successfully intervened. We have been besieged with letters from all the heads of those institutions. We're making an appeal to parliamentarians that possibly under your special intervention projects or constituency projects, that these are some of the institutions that lie within your constituencies. And these are some of the things you can adopt as your own projects, because they are federal institutions, so they sit within a federal budget properly than some other projects. And we've made the same appeal to the Green Chamber, but it's entirely within your discretion to decide what you want to do because of the size of the budget. But it will give us a lot of traction. The last priority we will focus on is bridge repairs and maintenance nationwide. We've started, and we need to continue. That essentially is our outlook for 2019 in terms of numbers and project focus. The big elephant in the room, of course, is funding, and government is already looking at many options. Even today, one of the committees that was approved was a committee to look at how to deliver a long-term sustainability financing program for Nigeria's infrastructure needs. Before your colleagues in the Green Chamber, one of the questions that was put to me was my thoughts about how to finance our infrastructure using private capital. And what I suggested, which has raised quite some interest over the last 3 days in the private equities market, is that why don't we even test the market and see what is possible? Everybody believes that there's some money out there. And we have tried the Sukuk 1 and 2. There has been good interest. The president has initiated an infrastructure tax credit refund policy. There's offtake there. President has also started an infrastructure development fund for certain projects, the East-West Road, Abuja, Kanu, Second Niger Bridge, Lagos, Ibadan, but that's just is a limited number of roads. So I said, why don't we get parliamentary support to say government can start an infrastructure bond for 10 trillion naira, and then withdraw it in tranches, not 10 trillion naira at once, but there's a legislative approval. Let's see what the market will do to 10 trillion naira. So when we have gaps in funding some of these things, we can call our transaction advisors, call our book builders to say, look, we want to raise 2 trillion. We want, and so those are the thoughts around which I think we should also consider this budget, not just what the proposals are, but how to solve the challenge of funding. So, Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, I am done. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your forbearance.